All right, Ryan. Everyone who just watched an ad, probably or something, they're just seeing the stream. We are live. We are together. Today, we are joined by legendary comic book artist Ryan Benjamin. You guys might know his work from everything that you read normally, from all of the things that your older brother read when he was a little bit younger, uh, and just all over the Proko YouTube channel in general. You guys have
Mhm.
seen tons of videos with Ryan drawing the Fantastic Hulk, teaching you guys how to place your characters in a scene easily, and now he's got a brand new course that we want to talk about. But
Yeah.
first, Ryan, I want to hear a little bit of what you've been up to in art. You were mentioning that you had a new issue recently, a new cover.
Yeah. So probably the latest book that I've worked on. This is not the cover here, but this is not the cover I did, but this is the
Mhm.
original cover for this series.
And what's the name
It's
of that book there?
Superman Unlimited #4. It's pretty interesting. It has a lot of really cool art inside here. So when you guys get a chance, go check it out. So you'll see my cover. It's Superman and Krepto. It's on the front.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
go
heck
check it
yeah.
out.
But yeah, no. So I think one of the things that people know about you, Ryan, is that you draw incredibly quickly. And so today's stream is also a nice quick one, so you guys can see a little bit of what can be done in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
Ryan wants to teach you how to do it in that amount of time.
yeah. I, how long you want to do the 2 minute version or the 20 minute version? So
We'll find out.
Is
Uh,
it, real quick, because there's a connection request coming in over here. So
oh, go ahead and close that thing.
just close that. Okay.
Yeah, so deny whatever.
Inject. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, people should not be doing that right now. Let me see. I got to bring up the right screen on my
See when
end.
we're still live.
Yeah, we are still live. I still have you here.
Just cut over here.
Yeah.
So.
So for those of you guys who are curious, there's a link in the description that you guys can follow to check out Ryan's new course right now. It's currently 20% off on his new course, Drawing Dynamic Characters. You guys should check that out. Ryan, what is that big drawing you've got there?
Well, this was a fun piece I'm working on. Just real quick, just to update you, the computer over here shut down and then it's restarted and it's on the welcome
I'll
screen.
be right back. Yeah, just a minute. Thank you.
Just keeping you up. Yeah. So this is just a fun piece that I'm working on. I just felt like expressing some of my Batman isms that's inside of me, and I just started drawing. I'm not done with it. I still have to finish doing the inking, so I have to make some updates on. I'm going to put in a lot of details back here, so there's going to be a lot of buildings kind of going up, and then when I'm done, I usually go through and I use a lot of white ink here, and I'm going to do like some kind of special effect on top of it. So I'll make it look sweet. I'll make it look nice when I'm done. But this was just a fun one. This is not a cover or anything like that. It's not a commission. It's something that I just felt like drawing. So I just started drawing. From time to time, what I like to do as an artist is when I have my normal, comic book work that I have to do. But then from time to time, through the course of me drawing, something will just pop in my head. I'm like, I need to draw this. I need to draw this. So I just start drawing, and this is the birth of one of them. And I've done tons of images like that. So
We are back, just so you know.
oh, we're back.
Yeah, you got everything.
Was I talking to myself the past 10 minutes?
You were talking to yourself, but in the way that the crowd was still hearing, though.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they could still hear you in that time. I just couldn't.
Okay. All right.
So we did ask for a bunch of questions beforehand.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
On YouTube in the YouTube comments.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a bunch of those to go over. If you want to go ahead and talk about what it is you're going to be drawing on today, and then I'll give you those questions while you work. How's that sound?
Well, I'm pretty much a Batman fiend.
It's fair.
I can draw Batman in my sleep. It's so easy. So what I'll do, I'll just demonstrate. I'll do a really quick demonstration. Now, I was thinking of I have multiple versions of what I do. Typically, when I'm at a con or a convention or something, I'll have people that approach me and they'll say, "Hey, can you draw a Batman for me?" And depending on not necessarily my mood, because I'm always in the mood to draw. It's more of what do they want, and if they just want a really quick sketch, my quick sketches range from like 2 minutes to 4 minutes, somewhere in that range. The way how I perform those really fast is I just hit key points, and once I put most of my attention on those key points, everything just comes out of it. So I can demonstrate that just to kind of show you how fast I do it, and you guys can even put a timer on it if you want to, and just time it. Well, is this all time, bro? There's no timer.
Yeah, I can close the timer. Yeah,
but it's okay. It's okay. When I get started, you guys can just go click the timer, and when I say stop, just as you're watching, you can just stop it. Whatever, just test me.
We'll see how this goes.
Let's see what.
All right, so the speed will obviously be a little bit different because you're going to be answering some questions during. So don't judge too hard, guys. But that's a fast artist. There was one question in here that I do want to make sure and get here at the start. YS Ryan asked, does the new course cover anything that isn't covered in the Marvel course? I think the Marvel course is intended to be a catch-all for a bunch of things. Ryan's new course is more specific. So even if there's some overlap in there that you guys might notice about this or that, placing a character, some things about line weight or whatever, it's a deeper dive. It's not something that you will have gotten in the same kind of fleshed out way. Yeah. It'll be a little bit different. There are. All right, this is the talking part, so I'm going to pause the timer for a minute. There are certain times, there are certain points of when I'm drawing that I am, I have to think and I have to choreograph the flow around certain key points. But once I lay down the key points, it just comes out. To me, like the new stuff that you're going to see, it's basically geared towards laying down specific key points, making sure everything's sound and set, and then following specific patterns that I do every single time for every single character. It's the same thing. I just repeat, but I just change the designs, I change the patterns and everything, and then I just keep going. So yeah, you'll see it. And it's not the end. There's gonna be more because I want to keep it entertaining. I want to show that these patterns that I'm doing, you'll be able to see it being applied to one character and then the next character and the next character, and then once you start following these patterns, you can pretty much do it anywhere, on anything, and you'll just see it. That's where we're going. So, okay. All right. I think it's fair. All right, timer's back on.
Timer back on. Okay. Timer back on. So.
All right. So I'm going to comb through some of the questions that we had in the poll that we had posted on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you're probably going to show this. Hey, Ryan, when drawing multiple characters dynamically, how do you keep everything clear and cohesive? I find that my characters are getting blurred into the backgrounds with all the line art.
Clear and cohesive. So basically, this is probably when you say clear and cohesive, are we talking overall, or are we talking details? Because you can approach it from multiple angles. Pause the timer too. So, basically, okay. Well, so as I'm drawing here, right? Watch me, okay? As I'm drawing, certain key points I'm hitting. I'm drawing Batman. We all know Batman has eyes. He has this nose that has this triangular type of feel to it. We know he has cheeks, which falls somewhere around here. We know his mouth is going to land somewhere around here. So we pretty much locked in these specific areas. And from here, everything else is just a filler. For me, it's just a filler. It's just, okay, let me just add the next layer over here, and then we throw a shadow over here, and then quickly, give him some shoulders over here. And that's basically all I'm doing, is just locking in certain features. Because if I cover these features, right? So I cover the eyes here and the most, and you look at the rest, it's basically, I could turn that into anything. I can turn that into, you can also do it the same thing with, if you cover everything else and you focus on the eyes. Once you lock in the eyes and nose and the mouth, you can turn that into anything also. So what I like to do is I like to lock in my eyes and nose and mouth based on that specific character, the expression that he's showing, the angle of his head, and also I'm thinking lighting at the same time. So as I'm drawing, I'm also thinking, okay, I just want to throw some lighting over here. So I'm thinking in that direction already. So what you're seeing right now is just really, really fast. And then I'm going to go through and I'll make it look pretty once I start to apply, like from here, I can immediately go because I'm locking it in. This is how I go through speed. Normally, I hope I answered that question. Normally, when I lay down this grid, this takes me about 20 to 30 seconds, and then I'm done. And then after that, I start to add the detail, and I put in all the focus in the eyes and nose and mouth. Now, that's where I spend most of my time, is here, and then everything else just kind of comes out. So I'll spend like maybe a minute on the eyes, nose, and mouth, and make that look right. Because if it looks right, everything else you can pretty much just scribble everything else, and it'll still look like it's a solid piece, because you identify people through the eyes and the mouth and the facial expressions. That's how you identify them. So once you get that in, it's cake from there.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a big one. If you wanted to go ahead and draw, let's show them what it's like when you don't have the timer paused. But yeah, so for those of you guys who haven't seen it before,
test me. But go ahead. Test me.
In a couple of Ryan's other videos that we have with him, there was a demo that he did where he drew the Hulk, and I dropped that in the chat here for you guys. He did this Hulk piece, but he did it where he established one main mass and then kind of extruded everything else out of that in a way. Like he drew the larger main mass and then some hands to really give some things some action, and then just kind of connected everything from that. And I think that kind of way that you work is something that you use in multiple ways, like how you were talking about laying in just the head and then kind of establishing everything else around that after that first part is laid in. And I think it's a great way to work and work quickly, especially when you have like something like a comic book panel to be able to use. If you have a confined thing rather than having to do some like landscape painting or something, it lets you work quickly and work like a camera kind of.
Yeah. This is, I love teaching this. And one of the key points for me is if I see someone pick up on it and they start doing the same thing I'm doing, and they get to learn it pretty fast, it makes me feel like, oh, I've accomplished something. Like, okay, they understand. And you can see it too. You can literally see it just in the first couple strokes when people put pencil down to paper and they start drawing. You can literally start to see like, okay, yeah, this person knows exactly what they're doing. Like they get it. So So, but as you can see, like here's another demo, right? What I'm going to show this. Okay, you see me jumping around from here to here to here to here to here to here, right? What I'm doing, you remember when we were kids? I'll show it over here on this separate sheet of paper. Remember when we were kids, and we would get these workbooks, and the workbooks would have, it would have dots all over the place like this, and then all you have to do was just connect the dots, and then it turns into a picture. These dots, I'm just turning them into like glorified looking marks. Like that's a dot, that's a dot, that's a dot, that's a dot. In fact, this whole eye could be a dot. The chin, the edge of the chin is another dot. I'm not just drawing a dot, I'm drawing a shape, and then I'm drawing another shape, and then I'm drawing another shape, and then another shape, and then another shape, and another shape, and then I start to connect. And as I'm connecting the shapes, it start to turn into something. And that's my pattern. That's how I flow. But I'm just doing it with speed and with style. I think speed definitely helps with establishing the style that I have, because I have a really sketchy style on pretty much everything when I'm drawing. I'm just going to shoot some shading on this side, just kind of start to establish that right here. And then the fun part for me, this entire thing is fun, but
like this is the only part that I like.
This is the only part I like. It's this fun part right here. As I'm drawing, I'm trying to establish, okay, who this character is. What I like to do is, as you can see, I'm focused more on the center. I haven't drawn the contours yet because I'm focused way more on the center of the character. I'm trying to lock that in, and once I get that in, I'm staying in sketch mode. I am not going to start. I'm not going to clean them up because this is I'm demonstrating my 4-minute sketches. You know how I do my 4 minutes. So I stay fast. Usually I have a fatter marker, so I have this tiny marker that I have to work with. So I'm going to just quickly demonstrate it with that.
Yeah, this is definitely not your full ideal. You know?
If I really wanted to, trust me, in fact we could do it. I'll pull out. I have some black hair, so I'm going to pull it out with a brush in a minute, and I'll show you how I make it look hot. But go ahead. Okay. I need to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. So I do have other questions here. Let me poke through some of these. We do have so many that people supplied beforehand. So you guys in the chat, unless there's something really pressing and important, like more connected to what's being demoed right now, I probably won't pull some of those. But I appreciate you guys all for being here. We just tried to build these up beforehand because Ryan only has 1 hour today. So let's see here.
1 hour.
This one seems incredibly pertinent. So Varun Moria asked how to get the correct perspective of head, jaw, neck relation on a figure. It would be useful if you could just simplify the torso, neck, jaw attachment, especially the visible bottom side of the jaw. I don't know if you just want to address that first part and how you approach that one.
Okay. So how do I get what on the head, jaw, and neck? That's what you asking?
Let's just go with the beginning of their question. I think that they were suggesting a path of doing that, but how to get the correct perspective of head, jaw, neck relation on a figure.
All right. So what I typically do is I'm showing this to you guys on this Proko, really amazing Proko sketchbooks.
That's one of our old ones before we changed them over to the new stuff. So you're dealing with a limited edition piece of doo-doo over there.
There you go. Okay. Piece of doo-doo. It's not doo-doo. I like the paper. It's really nice. Okay, so what I like to do is I'll demonstrate it in red. Okay. Actually I'll do it in red because it shows up a little bit better on paper, on screen. So what I like to do, right, when I'm drawing head, I try to establish the volume area first, because this is super important, because this tells me where the core of the head is based on the edge of the paper, based on the distance, the panel I'm in, based on it. So I just quickly scribble like just the volume area. Then I immediately go into like a cross section. All right. So once I have my cross section, from there, I'll figure out where the ears are going to go, and then from there, I know the eyes are going to go somewhere in here. So I'll just immediately go straight in and just quickly draw quick shapes. I'm not worried about details. I just want quick shapes so I can start to define the character. So I'm going to focus on this first triangle and then the second triangle here. Okay, the first triangle, it basically tells me where the bottom of the nose is going to go, and then the next one is going to be basically like where the mouth is. It can be the chin, but to me, I like to leave it up to the mouth, because a lot of times the chin I can draw a chin pretty normal, or I can exaggerate a chin and make it a little bit bigger. So I try not to lock in lock it in based on the chin. I try to lock it in based on where I think the mouth is going to go. So if the mouth is going to go somewhere in this area, that's what I do. So now I have these three. I have this triangle, and then I have this triangle here. So once I have this locked in, to me, from everything flows from there. So for me to get the correct angle, I'll repeat this pattern. Head here, and then let's say I'm going to change the angle on the head. I'll just change the angle of the cross section first, and then I know my head is the ear is going to go somewhere in this area. I know the chin is going to go somewhere here. Sometimes I'll quickly like just draw his neck or her neck, just so I can get a sense of that. And then once I have that, then I'll jump right into where the eyes are. And I know the cheek is somewhere in this area. The bottom of the chin is going to be here. The nose is going to be somewhere in this region. So I'm locking in this is grid first. Now I have this locked in, then I can go in. You can easily lighten it up like this. Don't erase it completely. We lighten it up like that. And then from there, you can go in and start to draw the character's eyes like this. I always start with the eyes because once you lock in the eyes, you can pull everything else. You can pull everything else out of that. So I try to lock in the eyes first. Once I have that, then I'll come in and I'll mess with the nose and create the bridge in the nose, and then I'll pull it down to the mouth. So now here it is. So this is my triangle right here. So I'm working on this first. This is the first thing I'm going to work on is this. Then once I have this triangle, then I can easily come in and pull the rest of it out. You can also help you to establish the jaw and the chin by just quickly throwing in like a dark shaded area like this. And then this will help you. It'll help you stack things. It'll help you stack where the jaw is and where the neck is. And it just helps you understand, okay, these are two separate parts and I'm piecing it together. So once you lay down that shadow, it assists with that. You can also use your eraser to help you clean up something like that. But this is basically it.
Can you bring that up into the middle of the screen there?
Oh, this is basically
a
little blurry. But this is basically it right here. Where I'll establish this, and now I know the face is somewhere in this region right here. Once it's in here, then I know this is the front side of the face. This is the side over here.
Yeah.
The head.
And I think a common question or comment I think that pops up whenever someone talks about a system like this they utilize are people saying that like, oh, that just makes all the faces look the same. It's a baseline that you modify as you work.
Exactly. It's the grid. The grid can change. So just to establish, I can establish my triangle to look like that. I can establish my triangle to look like this. I can establish my triangle to look like that. It's the same triangle. I'm just changing it up. So now the eyes are going to be here. The nose is going to be somewhere here. The eyes are going to be here. The nose is going to be somewhere here. The eyes are going to be here. Or you can even make the eyes bigger and wider. You can change the angle of the eyes, and whatever it is, it's just lock in that triangle first, and that will help. Because once you have this, here's a triangle. It's a perfect example. So if you have this triangle here, right? You can turn it at different angles. You can still see, okay, the eyes are here, the nose is here, the eyes are here, the nose is here, and you just messing with this triangle right here. That's all I do. That's basically it.
Okay. What's up next here in the cover that you're doing right now?
So right now, the next thing I'm going to do is try to. Batman has sort of like a thicker neck, so I'm just going to quickly. I'm going to continue with those markers, those marker points, those coordinate points. I'm just going to quickly establish where I think those things are going to land, and now you start to see it come together. Then the fun part kicks in. Okay,
the fun part.
So this will come in with black ink like this. I'm going to do it with a brush, but usually I'll do it with like a marker or something like that. And I'll just quickly use my finger just like this. I'm not
now for someone else who might have some sort of concern because they spent so much time on the sketch and they were putting in all these like hard lines and like having something else kind of breathe and get soft. how do you kind of balance what is inherently a smudgy thing that you're doing right now with those hard lines?
I stop caring. That's what I do. I just don't care. If I make a mistake, I go with it. I don't fight it. So as you can see, I'm just throwing down shapes, and it's starting to build and build and build and build and build, and next it turns into something. I'm just throwing it down. I'm not caring at all. And right now I'm actually defining his edge, with these sporadic areas. Like I'll work a little bit here, leave a gap, work a little bit here, leave a gap, work a little bit here, leave a gap, and I'll let the reader's eye fill in that gap. Or I might come back in with a pen later on and add some tiny details. It all depends. But right now I'm gonna establish the rest of his head based on the outside area. So since the ink is still wet, don't be afraid to get messy. Don't be afraid to get your fingers, a little bit, with some ink on it. Don't worry about it. Just kind of go with it.
We got a super chat here. I think I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't read them. This is from Pop Culture Rocks. It says, "Shout out to Ryan, the artist on the Runaway Success Prodigy New Age on Indiegogo."
Yes, sir. Yep. Thank you.
There was, I don't want to pull away from what you're doing right now, but I did want to just tell people a little bit of what's actually in this upcoming course of yours.
Yes. Let's do it.
I'm gonna read a little bit of what's on the screen while you're working, so they have a nice little visual. All right, so on the page here, the things that are touted as being what you'll learn, you have the core of dynamic comic art, what actually makes a superhero drawing pop, how to use silhouettes for clarity and punch, sketching, layout and storytelling, it's thumbnailing, blocking things in, anatomy, where you have I think a very good way of working with anatomy, but also combining that with simple forms. So person doesn't necessarily have to know like every single muscle or anything. Some of it can just be broken down a little more easily.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you've got depth, foreshortening, and form, lighting and rendering, costumes, character flow, rough sketch to final art, and the one here that's called inking for impact, which I think they're getting a little bit of here right now.
Yes, this is it. There's no thought. Zero thought in any of this stuff. It's just this is what makes it dynamic. Is when you're drawing and you're in sketch mode, you're like, oh, let me doodle over here, and I'm sketching a shape, blah blah blah. You're doing this. I'm still in that mode when I'm inking. I haven't changed. There is a time I'll pull myself out of that mode, and I'll go more into a definitive stroke. I'll make more specific lines, but then there's a good portion of it where I just stop thinking and I'm just going. I could literally almost do this without even looking, because I'm not thinking about it. When I think about it, that's what slows me down, and that's when it takes 30 minutes for me to do this piece when I can do this in 4 minutes. That's what it is. So I stopped caring. I learned to stop caring a couple years ago too. Like, just don't worry about it. Just go. Just express yourself.
So it's interesting because you say that it's a thing that you don't think about and that you just kind of place probably intuitively. But there are some things that end up happening that are still part of the skills that you've built up with composition that you do share in your courses. Yeah. So there are some areas some things that you're doing here with negative space that are visually interesting. On the left side of the head, you've got the bright space like over here, so that edge that's being lost on the side of the head, that still feels like it's cohesive with that background. Yep. So it feels like there's something really bright behind there, kind of like a lens flare or something else. Yep. And so there are things that you do that are just built on the other skills that you have learned over time.
So, there's like you see how I'm cleaning this up over here. I'm going to let some of that negative space breathe and let it do its thing, and stop trying to define everything. Just let the piece work. Let the strokes do what it does. and don't fight it. And yeah, so this is basically how I do my thing. So.
Mm-hmm. And do you think when you try to pull it back and try to do something with intention, is sometimes that detrimental? Like, does it make it worse?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There's certain parts where I will take my time and say, hey, I need to really focus on the hair, because I need the hair to look a specific way, and I want it to flow. And so I'll take my time and I'll put some focus. But then there are times when I let the randomness be the forward movement. That becomes the stroke, instead of me thinking, oh, it must look like this. I'm just like, I just need something going in that direction. Whatever it is, that's what it is. I'll stick with it, and I'm not going to panic, because a lot of people panic when they're drawing. They're like, oh, that's not the stroke I wanted. Don't worry about it. Just let it happen, because there's a reason why. There's a reason why there's white ink and there's black ink. There's a reason for it, because this you can add and you can always take away. So just keep going back and forth with it. That's all you have to do. And I'll show a little bit of that in a minute, how I add it take away over here. But yeah, this is basically it.
There's one question here that we have that, Ryan, I have heard you address a little bit at the Comic Book Pro Bootcamp that you do, the in-person drawing teaching that you do. This person might not like the answer that you give. So Trashy Trav asked, how to deal with being overwhelmed and learning the fundamentals of art while maintaining a busy life.
That's a struggle. We as artists, our natural inclination is to express. I mean, we want to express, and we just want to do. And then life has a way to interfere with that expression. Your bills come around, you have medical issues, you have family issues, vacation is coming up, and then next thing you know, you haven't picked up a pencil in 2 weeks, which turned into 2 months. Things can happen, so you have to find a way to balance it out. The way how I do it, I figure out what's my goal. There's a passion side of it, and then there's a production side of it. The production side, it says, hey, I have deadlines, I need to get this done, and I don't care what's going on around here. I'm not doing this because I need to hit my deadlines. And then there's the passion side of it, where I'm just like, I just want to express. I just don't talk to me for the next 17 hours. I just want to draw during that time period. Just leave me alone. That's it. This is that passion side of me. You feel it and you just want to do it. There's been multiple times it'll be like 2:00 at night, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. Well, I don't know why, but I'm feeling this, the heat. I'm feeling it. I need to start drawing. And then I just get up and start drawing, and I'm drawing till like 6 a.m. I've done that before in the past. So it just, times it comes and it goes. So the way, when you step back and you look at the giant picture, everything moves in in a giant wave. So you just have to learn to ride that wave and find who you are as a person, as an artist, and try to express yourself as best as you can with the tools that you have, and try not to let the world take you off your game, because the world has a really good way to take you off your game, because you're trying to improve, you're trying to get better, you're trying to express, and at the same time you have someone else who doesn't think like you, who's not on the same agenda that you have, and they're taking you off your game. So you have to find a way to balance that out. Say, okay, look, I hear you, I understand, I will take care of this here, but I have to get this out now, because if I don't, I'm never going to get it done. Sometimes you might have to say that. Sometimes you might not. You might have to say, look, I'll get to this later. I need to take care of this now. You might have to say that. So it really depends on the individual. I don't want to be a life coach. But
yeah. You leave that to Christian.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make that decision for yourself. How I do it, how I've done it in the past. There's been times I've been really brutal in my approach. So I'm like, I'm cutting the entire world out. Just leave me alone. Don't talk to me for a while. I'm that focused I've gone to the point where I've I've told a story in the past where when I came into the industry, I went to my landlord and I was like, hey, I need to break my lease because I'm getting ready to move out of the state and I'm going to go draw comics. And then they were like, I don't care, pay your rent. That person is, if I followed that person's instructions, I would not be here right now. I would not, I would be Ryan, whatever.
Ryan Benjamin, car salesman or whatever.
Honestly, I was planning to be a firefighter. I was planning to be a firefighter. I was going to be either a firefighter or join the Coast Guard. Those are the two things I was planning to do.
The one thing I'll say that with new Batman, Absolute Batman, you could have been Batman then.
He's could have been Batman, saving lives and doing stuff instead of drawing a fictional character doing that stuff. So I could have been that. Yeah. So that could have been me. But I decided just to close that story. I decided I'm not going to let this person stop me from reaching my goal. I know, I can feel it in my bones. I want to be an artist. I want to pursue this. I want to go in this direction. And here's this lady sitting behind a desk telling me that's not what she wants for me to do. She wants me to pay my bills. And I'm like, okay. So what I did, I just went back to my apartment. This is how brutal I was. I went back to my apartment. I just cleaned up everything and just left.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You can ruin my credit. You can do what you need. I do not care. I'm out. Yeah. And I just left. I just did what I had to do because I'm not going to let this woman stop me from pursuing my goal. Yeah. I'm not saying for you to do it. I'm saying that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And all you can ever say really is your experience.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. So we have a couple other questions here. So about you and how you started into the industry, because we're kind of on that right now.
Okay.
Chaotic Gamer was asking, is it okay to have my art be more stylized or unique and still get into the comic book industry?
Absolutely. Yeah. You should. You want to stand out. You don't want to. There is a time when you want to follow what other artists are doing because those artists have hit a specific mark. Those artists, they've hit a certain goal, and you can see the patterns. They're hitting it over and over and over and over, and you want to follow those people because typically, if they're doing it correctly, you want to do it correctly also. So you want to follow them. There's that time, but then there's a time you need to the raw cartoonists, the raw artists, the raw expressionists inside of you. You just want to do so. So becomes a time you might want to break away from that, or you just want to not even follow that and just do your own thing. And that's this is the beauty about what comics is. Comics is a really inexpensive way to express yourself with an audience, test it, and you're not just testing the audience. You're testing the product. You're testing your skills. You're testing the pipeline. You're testing. There's a whole host of stuff that you're testing, and it's a really cheap way of doing it. You can literally do it for $0. All you need is just go get a pencil and paper and start drawing. That's basically it. So once you have that, and this Kickstarter, you can get the audience to help fund this movement that you're building. So there's you just have to just do it. Don't wait for a large company to approach you and say, hey, I want you to draw the next cover for me, or I want you to draw the next comic or whatever it is.
Yeah, show them why.
Don't wait. You want to show them why. Show them that you can take the initiative and you can build something on your own. That you are the leader of this movement that you're building. So do it. Just do it. That's it.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for different companies wanting different things. Some places absolutely just want like a house style.
Yes.
I understand where you're trying to go, and so you can chart that path for yourself in all things, whether that's you trying to work with another company or you just trying to learn how to make art in general.
Yeah.
Just chart your path in front of you, do that thing. There was one other question here from Carlos Rue, who I thought this was a really good one. They said, what advice would you give to someone who is trapped with drawing just for work and course assignments? How do they find that way to drawing just for fun again?
shameless plug. Get you a sketchbook, right? Get a sketchbook, and just open it up and start drawing. This is the beauty about art. It's you can do this with a guide, and you can do this without a guide. You can do this with a goal. You can just do it just for fun. There's so many different ways you can attack this. The core of it is just do. That's the core of it. Okay. Now,
and don't only draw to make the best thing you've ever drawn.
And let's say you haven't, or you're trying to get into a specific industry, or you're trying to go towards a specific style. Don't just draw just to draw. Draw in that direction. That way, hey, I want to be a Batman artist one day. So draw more Batmans. That's what you want to do. Just keep practicing and practicing Batman as much as you can until you're really, really good at it. That's what you want to do. And there's so much to learn about just drawing that character and a whole host of characters, the thousands of characters that's out there. You just have to learn and study specific styles and kind of move in that direction. Because I've seen people who took my classes, and their style don't necessarily fit certain directions they want to go, and I have to teach you. I have to break them and say this. You have to break their thinking to make them think. Okay, you have to stop penciling this way and start penciling this way, because that now you're on the right track. So it's certain people develop certain habits and they get stuck into them. So you just have to be careful, and like I said, the core of it is just to do. It's just that's where the love and the passion and the fun is going to come from. It's just doing, just expressing. But then there's a part of it you have to put that expression inside of a box, and that box can be a corporation, it could be a system, it can be a client, it could be whatever it is. That's what that box is. Like, you need to take that expression and fit it within this box to satisfy this box. So you have to find a way to change your mind, change your style, learn as much as you can, go digital, go analog, do as much as you can, and just be a well-rounded artist.
Well said.
Isn't this is 4 minutes, right?
Yes, I mean it added up with the conversation in there. The time that you actually spent drawing was nice and short.
Wow, good. My timer said 4 minutes. I don't know what timer you guys are using, but my timer says 4 minutes. So.
It must have been some sort of technical difficulty for sure. It was definitely 4 minutes. They're just barely seeing it catch up.
I'm in a time loop over here.
Yeah, Carlos, I think that was a good question in there. All right, there's so many other questions. I think, Ryan, we might have to have you back just to go through and answer some of these questions
with
for an
no
edited
drawing,
video.
just Q&A.
I mean, maybe you'll still get to draw during it, but right. I think it could be good.
All right, I'll just keep asking. I'll try to shorten my answers.
Oh, okay. Let's see what we got. All right, let me pull up some of these other questions. I appreciate you guys being here in the chat, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. All right, so this one's fun. When you're drawing a dynamic figure, how do you decide where to place it in the scene, and how do you use the background and scene to enhance the pose's impact?
Gesture, stroke lines, simplify forms, simplify shapes. Quick example. Let's say this is the frame I'm using. I'll go this horizontal so you can see. Let's say this is the frame I'm using, right? And I'm trying to figure out where the character is going to go. I always stick with my fundamentals, and I lock in the core of the human body. The human core is basically the chest with the pelvic area, and then the abs section. Okay, so once you lock in this area here, right here, lock this in. Now you can pull the head and everything, the arms and the legs out of that. But this core right here, I could have placed that core somewhere else. Let's say I'm doing a page over here. I want the character to take up most of the space. So I'm going to establish a core, his pelvic area, center line, cross section for the shoulders. This is where the sockets for the shoulders. So now I'm locking in this area. Now once this area is locked, so you can quickly establish the rib cage, the chest, where it's going to go. So now I'm sticking with this sketchy frame within this boundary here. So now I know that his main part of his body is going to be here, and I'm looking at all this space here. I'm looking at all this here. This, you know, compared to where everything else. So now I know I can fit his head in here, and now I have to worry about his hands coming in. I have to worry about his legs coming in this way. I can worry about, you know, one hand this way, maybe another hand coming out this way. So now I know, based on where this is locked in, I have all this area around it to fill and work around it. I could have done it at pretty much anything. I could have done it with another character over here, like he's standing here like this. So this is cross section here. His head will show up here. So that's just the core. You can do it with another character back here in the back. He's really tiny like this with the human core like this. I'm going really fast just to kind of scribble because I always move fast. So I'm just quickly locking. You can actually do it with some quick shading too, just quickly like, hey, let me shade this really quick. You can do that. Why I say that? Because you can always come back and erase. So you just quickly establish it. So now I know there's going to be two characters here, and based on this grid here, they're standing on this grid here like this. So I know they're standing here, and then so from here I can come in and start applying the legs over here, hands, and I can put other objects in the scene. So I'm locking this in first, the character first, and then I'll pull the rest of the scene out of it. Sometimes you might want to establish the scene first, like say it's like a nice scene. Did I say I was going to keep my answers short? And here I am. Talking.
You had a demonstration going. This is a good thing.
So something I like to do. Let's say you're establishing a scene, right? And it's like a scene with like horizon line, maybe some mountains over here, some buildings kind of over here, cliff edge over here, and a river or something coming in here like that. So now I'm establishing, okay, this is this. Now I have to lock in a character in here. Maybe it's like Superman flying, right? Or he's kind of hovering over here. So I'm going to quickly establish the center. This is going to be the center mass of him, where his chest is going to go, his pelvic area in this area. And then I'm going to pull his leg out like this and say Superman is going to be somewhere in this region, and his cape is going to go flying out this way. And he's looking at the city while he's over here. So now I have this down. This cliff edge, I can always go back and add some detail, like all the whatever's down here. It could be roads, it could be a bunch of trees. I don't know what it is, whatever it is. So now I have this. So now I have a sense of where things are going to fall, where things are going to flow, and then from here, I can lighten it up, just like this. I can still see the lines, and then I'm just going to go through and start to bring in the shapes, his shapes like this, and just come in and just quickly bring in some shapes, and then just quickly establish his hand, where his hand's going to go, his other hand is going to go. This is the steps I use when I'm drawing comics. This is why I can, and don't tell my editors this, but this is the trick to how I'm capable of drawing pages in like 4 hours. Don't tell my editor I said that, because I want him to think that it takes me 5 days to draw a page, but it doesn't. Yes. It takes me like 4 hours, but don't tell him. Okay. So it moves like this, and I can come in and play around, and then from here you can start to apply more shading like this. And there's a trick to a lot of this. I'm moving really fast, but there's a trick to it, right? The trick is this. I'm gonna give you guys this lesson for free. I might charge you
Ooh.
free 99 at the end of this. You might get charged. So basically, what I'll do is, this is a lesson, all right? Just get a blank sheet of paper and just throw a bunch of shapes like this, right? And come back and just kind of capture these areas. I like to call them like capturing, like this. I'm just going to isolate these areas, and then from there, I'm going to render from it really fast. So those 3 steps, this is what I do for pretty much everything. This is when I'm drawing my pages. Those 3 steps. Go ahead. What were we going to ask?
And that's applicable to drawing a full scene, or when you begin kind of like rendering something?
Concepting, rendering. When I'm drawing a scene with backgrounds, I'm drawing the characters. And even though I established like this dark area here, I can still come in and draw specific details right through this. You know, I can draw like some muscle structures and stuff like that. I can come in and draw his hair and pull maybe shapes out of it like that. You can come in, play around with it. Okay?
There was one question that came up earlier where a person, I don't have it in front of me here, but they were basically saying, how do you get over taking a sketch that you liked so much and then starting to ink and feeling like it's gotten lifeless? And I think this is kind of at the core of that. Your sketch isn't rigid. You didn't spend 3 hours doing the sketch. You put in the loose blocks of something, and your inks don't necessarily adhere directly to the sketch. Like you pull things.
You don't. Why? This is why. All right, man, I'm giving you guys a lot today. All right, so this is why, all right? When there are some pencilers, you get a nice sharp pencil to demonstrate this one. There are some pencilers out there that when they pencil, they like to make sure their line is crisp and clean like this. And they'll make sure everything's smooth and it's flowing exactly how they want it to flow.
It's like 90% of the way to their inks.
And then there are pencilers out there who just want this motion. So they'll just kind of throw something down like this. This is a lot more sketchier than this here. I am more of this type of artist than I am this type, but I can do both. But so usually I'll find somewhere in between these two, where I'm nice and crisp and clean, and then where I'm kind of sketchy. This sketchiness right here, see, I feel like when I'm drawing this way, it's way more dynamic than it's here. And here I can get this done in about 5 seconds, and here it'll take me about 35 seconds to make this line nice and clean and it's crisp. But I get way more energy from the 5-second one than the 35-second one. So what I'll do is I'll try to stick with this, and then I'll go here first. And if it looks correct, I'll stick with it. If it's not, then I'll slow down and try to clean it up a little. I might come back
a little bit, push it and pull it into what you need.
Let me clean up this area a little bit more, but I'm still going to keep this energetic area here, but I'm going to clean up this area here a little bit more. So so I get a mixture of both of these here, where it's energetic and this is what I'm talking about with the inking part. As an inker, you typically want to follow the patterns and the guides of the line, the person who actually threw down the line. But then there are times as an inker, especially this is why I always recommend inkers become artists also, because once you become an artist, you understand what a penciler. No, when I say artist, I meant like a penciler. You understand what a penciler is thinking. Because if you don't understand what a penciler is thinking and all you're thinking is inks, you might ink this completely wrong. So that's why I tell inkers, hey, at least practice penciling from time to time so that you can see what a penciler sees and what direction that penciler is going, and then you'll be able to understand how to read it. It's like kind of like reading Braille a little bit. Okay. So now you have this. So now I know when I'm coming in that I'll be able to can I use this? I could use this a little. Yeah, I'll use this. I'll use this other pen here because this one's kind of fading. So now I'll know where it gives me a little bit more flexibility as an inker to decide how am I going to ink this line here, versus trying to ink this line. It's still the same. I'm still inking the same line, but over here I have more flexibility. Over here I don't have that much flexibility because I have to stick with the line. Over here, if it's more energetic and loose, as an inker, I'm like, okay, you're giving me some liberty to change things. I don't have to make this area so harsh. I can soften it up if I want to.
Yeah.
You're giving that person a little bit more flexibility. So I like to let my inkers express a little bit more versus forcing them into a bucket, and it's just them it's just from artist to artist. We're sharing energy here, and I don't want them to completely follow my line completely. I want them to express a little bit who they are as a person also. So that's why I give them a little bit more looser lines like this.
Yeah. So there was a comment here. They're saying I thought inkers were artists. This is kind of in the way
they are.
There's classifications. Like if you go and read a comic book, chances are that on the front of it it'll have like 2 or 3 names.
Yep.
It might have like writer, main artist, and then like the colorist or something. Sometimes the letter will be included depending on the person who's involved in the creative team. But the person who's like considered like the artist on this one, they might have just done pencils. They might have done pencils and inks for themselves. It depends on the person, and it's just the way that things are credited.
Yeah. So inkers are artists. We're all artists. Every single one of us. We're all artists.
Even the letterers. That's a hard job.
Yeah, exactly. We're all artists. This is just that when you're penciling, you're in a completely different mindset from when you're inking. And so you have to find a way to understand both of those mindsets. That way the penciler can set it up for the inker, and then the inker can read what the penciler is setting up. So if you have that nice balance, that nice dance, then you have a great team, and they can pretty much read each other and know exactly what this penciler wants. Pencil can scribble something and tell the inker, hey, I didn't have time to finish this. Can you just finish this area for me? And the inker can, I've done this for years, so I know what he wants, so he's just going to do it.
Yeah.
So you can see that balance, it goes on. So it's a unity thing.
Well, it's kind of like so for all of us, like everyone that's in this chat and in this room right now, we've all watched superhero movies where like 30% of the time to half the time there's some sort of CG takeover in the visual effects, so the acting that's happening on screen, it's done by the animators, like the CG artists, but they don't get called actors. They get called like VFX artists, even though they're making all the movements of the faces and stuff. It's just different parts of the process.
Yep.
So let's see, Ryan, we're about to hit an hour, but we're about to hit an hour on this 4-minute drawing. It's been pieced out between the different questions and stuff.
You make me talk too much, right? See, that's what happens when I start teaching. I love it so much. I just get into it, and I want to keep teaching. I want to keep giving.
You did give away one free lesson in there. A couple of free lessons. If you guys want more of that stuff, you can head over to the link that you see on screen below here, where you can save 20% off on Ryan's brand new course, Drawing Dynamic Characters. If you guys have seen any of Ryan's videos on our channel before, which chances are you probably have, there are a lot of them. He was one of the instructors in our Marvel course. He has a couple of his own courses on Proko, and now he's got yet another that's a little bit more specific. So if you guys want to find out more about that, follow that link that you see on screen in the description or in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys that link one more time in the chat in there. But yeah, Ryan, what do you want to kind of make sure is on this piece before we say adieu to everybody?
The very last thing I like to do is I like to take some white like this, and where's my brush? What do I do with my it's right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a little trick what I like to do at the very, 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 very end. And you're hearing me clean out my brush back here. Okay.
Is it in the water that I thought you were going to drink?
I was going to drink it, but I'm not drinking it. So a little bit too much. So what I like to do is I like to take some of this white ink. I'm gonna put it here so I don't make too much of a mess. And usually this ink here is a little bit, it's a little bit watered down.
I mean, you can feel free to use a bunch more, whatever you need.
Yeah. What I'll do,
you know what happened to our nice white ink, Ryan?
What's that?
We had Sanford Green here, and that man took that white ink.
he took it with him. He went back home with it.
He took our nice white ink. He also took our black ink, but we have a lot more black ink. But we don't keep a lot of white ink on hand.
Come on.
But you know, whatever. That's what you do for an Eisner winning artist.
Yeah, he's an Eisner. That was his free gift. Sanford, you get white ink. All right. So yeah, it's a little bit watered down. I like to use a little bit thicker ones, but this one here is a little bit watered down. So what I'll do, I'll just do the very, very last thing is that I will take a card. Just get like a card, right? I'll just use a little bit of this. I won't do too much because it's kind of a little bit too watered down for me. And I'll just come back in and just add a little extra flair to it.
Some texture.
Yeah, get a little bit of texture to it. And I just let the flicker or the splash do its thing, and then you let it dry. And when it dries, you start to see like these little extra dusty areas that's floating around here. So that's basically what I like to do. And you get a nice little dirty art table when you're done. I guess that's what Windex is for, right? You get to clean it up. So
absolutely. Is your desk at home cleaned up, or do you just kind of let it fly?
No, I get dirty and I stay dirty. It's art. What are you? All you're doing is expressing. So I'm not gonna. If I clean it up, guess what? It's just gonna get dirty all over again.
Yeah.
So I just let it do its thing. So.
All right.
Basically, that's it.
All right, Ryan. If people want to find out more about what you have going on, because you have so very much going on at any given time, where would you prefer that they follow you at?
Ooh, okay. Well, yeah, the best thing to do is follow me on my Instagram. That's where I pretty much announce everything I'm doing when I'm doing it or when I can announce it. If I can't announce it, then if I'm working on it and I can't announce it, I just won't say anything. But usually my Instagram is where you want to go to follow me and to learn about all the things that I'm working on. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go follow Ryan over there. Follow me over here. Follow Proko right here on this very channel that you're on right now. And check out Ryan's course. That's this link right here. The one that's in the description, that's in the chat. And Ryan, let's show them that art one more time.
Which one? The Batman
right here. Yeah, show them this Batman one, and then just show them the other one you brought too, that nice big one.
Oh, the big one. Oh, yeah. So it's not done. I'm still working on this. I have a lot more to do. I'm going to add more to the clouds up here. This is going to be clouds in the sky back here. And then there's going to be a giant cityscape. So I have to do a lot of detail on some buildings. It's just Batman, Robin jumping out of the sky, doing their thing. So, and I need to add another layer on top of it. So it's going to be more stuff like flowing on top of them, just bringing a little bit more energy to this piece. So when I'm done, I'll post this on my Instagram also, so you guys.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, Ryan. I appreciate it. I hope that you have a good rest of your day, that everyone else does, and I'm sure we'll see you again on the channel.
And I will be here some other time. So let's see you guys. Okay.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
You guys thought I was going to drink it, huh? Nope.